So welcome. I'm going to do a quick how-to and how to make an ebook out of Google Slides. So the first thing we do, as usual, is go and open up a Google Slides presentation. I'm going to do that here from going to New to Google Slides. So the default with Google Slides, just like with PowerPoint, I'm going to get rid of the themes, is to have this horizontal interface or horizontal space to put our content. And when we talk about ebooks, we really mean that we think of them as being vertical. We also want to be able to move around inside the ebook without having to go page by page. So the two things we're going to do is we're going to learn how to reorient our slides so they're vertical instead of horizontal, and then we're also going to look at how you create links to slides within your presentation. Everything else about Google Slides stays the same. If you're inserting an image, adding writing, all of those things are going to stay the same as they would in a slides presentation, a typical slides presentation. So anyway, we're going to start off with giving our book a name. So we're going to call this Apples. I'm going to go ahead and say by Nell Eckersley. And now if I click on Untitled Presentation, it's going to guess I want to call it Apples, which is fine. And I'm going to, so the way that you change the dimensions of your page in a slide or your slides is to go to File, and then you scroll down, and close to the bottom we have Page Setup. So click on Page Setup. The default, as I said, is is a horizontal widescreen. So this is 16:9. We're going to click on that, and we have the option of doing custom. So the custom, in this case, is I'm going to try and use the same dimensions as a piece of typing paper, just because it would actually facilitate if I wanted to print these slides out at some point. And I want to change the orientation. So instead of having the larger number first, I'm going to go with the 8.5. So 8.5 inches by 11. And I'm going to apply. And now we have a screen that fits those dimensions. So if I was to print this out, it would take a full page of typing paper. You can reorient content on here, just like we said you could do in a normal situation or a normal slides presentation. I'm going to change the font because we can, and maybe make it a lot bigger. Okay, so this is our book. So I'm going to add another slide. And again, the defaults here are going to be with a title at the top and a body place for you to write in, a text box. You always have the option of clicking that downward facing arrow and choosing a different layout. This works for us for today. And again, I can move things around. So in here, I'm going to do a insert a picture. And I'm going to search the web for apples. And I'm going to select this picture. I'm going to insert it. So we have our picture of apples. The reason that we're talking about doing this in a slides presentation rather than a Google Doc or some other Google tool is really because of the functionality we have around all these graphics. So it's very easy for us just to move an image around. Inside docs, you lose some of that capability, but really everything we're talking about could happen there. So let's call these red apples. My favorite kind of apples are red. I like Gala, Pink Lady, and Red Delicious. Right, so that's an example of some content I might have in there. We also want to have page numbers. So I'm going to go to Insert Slide Numbers. skip it on the first title page, click apply. I'm going to go to number 3, page 3. I'm going to call this green apples. And again, now we've talked, I was showing you that you can insert images from here. You could also go, if you had an image out in your own computer, you could add that here. You could go to an image that you might find. So let's do green apples. Images. I'm going to actually go to tools, and I'm going to do usage rights, label for reuse. So I like this one. It's here. This is the picture. And I'm going to copy it by using my snipping tool. So on a Mac, you can do this. I think it's Control-3. On a PC, you have something called a snipping tool. So I click New, and I snip it. This is a way you can grab images that you're not able to insert for some reason. So I've copied it, and now when I go back to my slideshow, as long as I'm not anything highlighted there, I can do Control V to paste it. So now I have my green apple. And I'm going to move my writing down. Granny Smiths are a popular green apple. And then, you know, you could have something going on from here where you explain where Granny Smith got its name, etc. So now we have 2 pages in our book. I want to go ahead and add an index or a table of contents. And actually, because I was in this slide and I clicked the plus, I got a slide that looks just like this. I don't want that. So I'm going to delete this one. I right click on it and delete it. I'm going to go ahead and add a regular slide. And then I'm just going to click on it, left click and drag it up. And in here, I'm going to call this index or table of contents. And my first story is red apples, and my next one is green apples. So I want to link this so that I can get to these individual pages without just going page by page through the slides. So I highlight red apples, and I can either right click on that and I'll get the link option. They also tell you Control K would get you this, or up in the ribbon, you also have it. So there are 3 different ways, at least, that you can get to adding links. Here, you may be familiar with this and adding links. I often add links to outside content, but what was new for me is to click on slides in this presentation. And I wanted to make sure that each of my pages had a title, because that will make it easier as I scroll down here to find the title that I wanted. So red apples is the one I want. Click apply. Green apples, I'm going to do the same thing. Going to the link, clicking slides in the presentations, scrolling down to green apples, click apply. Now, another trick I want to do though is I also want to be able to get back to the table of contents from here. So I'm going to insert a text box, and I'm going to write return to table of contents. And we can make that just long and skinny. There we go. So in here, I'm also going to make a link. So I'm highlighting it, I'm going up to link, and this time I'm linking it to slides in this presentation, table of contents, and I'm going to apply it. Now, this would be helpful to have on every page, right? So I could either go into my master slide at this point and have it added there, or I can just click on it so it's highlighted. There's no cursor blinking in there, so I've got this outside highlighted. I'm going to Control C for copy, and now I can go to the next slide and Control V and paste it there. And I could basically add a bunch more slides and they could all have it. Okay, so now all my slides will have that, and we could return to the table of contents. Now, when you're looking at this book in regular mode, it does not, the power of these links is not obvious, you have to go into present mode. In present mode, we start off with our book, Apples. We move to the next slide. Oops, sorry. Now it's playing. So now instead of going to red apples directly, I want to go to green apples. I click on green apples and I go to green apple. Now I want to go back to tables of content. Right, so this would go on back and forth. So I could go to red apples and then return to table of content. So this could be a book that you create for your students. I'm going to escape to get out of present mode. This could be a book that you create that you send to your students via WhatsApp or email or whatever it is, and they can open it up on their phone and they can actually go through it on their phone. You do want to share it with them in present mode, or you want to let them know how to put it into present mode, because it has to be presented in order for these links to be live. So in share, we're going to get a link. We're going to change this to anyone with a link. We want them to be viewers only. We're going to copy that link. And now, just for the sake of you seeing it, I'm going to paste it in here. So this is the link we were given. Now, to force present, you can go into this link before it is live, before it is actually a link that would lead to directly to that space. You go in here, click on Edit, and change that to present. And now I'm going to go to the end of that link, and I'm going to click the space bar, and now it's a live link. When I click on that link, I can, why is it not letting me go there? It takes me out and I'm in present mode already. Now this works when you are looking at it on a computer screen or a tablet screen. On a phone screen, it can be helpful, instead of the present mode, you can also publish it to the web. So publish to the web is here under File. You can tell them to auto advance, which is great for a slideshow in general, but in this case I might want to delay that a little bit, so I'm going to say 30 seconds. I can click publish. Oh, and I also want it to, I want it to start as soon as the player loads, so people are not confused. So I click publish, I click OK. Here's another link for me to use. If I go to this link, now it's published to the web, and that will automatically be in present mode. And this is definitely friendly for the phone. When I look at it on my phone and I have Slides app included on my phone, even in the present mode, I see the editing capabilities and things like that. If you really want to make sure that people can just see the book, this would be the way to go. And now they have it on, it's basically a link to it's online. So again, if I go back here, I click on this. So this is my book. So thank you for watching.